Hello and welcome to Sharing Our Cultures. This is the place where you get to meet people from around the world who are making a difference in their communities. Joining me in conversation today is Precious, and we'll be right back. Hello and welcome to Sharing Our Cultures. Joining me for a conversation now is one of the remarkable community leaders, and he's Precious. Welcome.
Oh, hello, Dr. Ledecta. I'm so happy to be here today.
All right, I'm happy to have you actually, because we haven't had an opportunity to sit down and have a conversation for a long time.
Right, it's been
Yes?
so long,
Okay, yeah.
but I'm super excited to be here today,
Right,
for
yes,
sure.
we're excited to have you. So this is catch-up time now. Tell me, what have you been up to?
Many things.
Okay, right.
But I guess I can start off with one of the cool things in my job that I'm so happy to have to do every day is I work for an organization called Black Business Initiative. It was an organization founded in 1996 in Nova Scotia, and it was really founded because they found that a lot of Black business owners in Nova Scotia at that time didn't really have the resources to help them grow their business. So they came together and was like, how can we really help Black businesses grow? And it's crazy because if you think of 1996 and now, we're still trying to, we face the same challenges, we're still trying to help businesses grow as well. And so there was actually a report done that shows that these are the needs of the Black community in Nova Scotia. And so from then, BBI was created in 1996. And then if you fast forward, even before I was born, actually, if you fast forward to 2022, when I started with the company actually now got, with the support of the federal government, expanded to all the Atlantic provinces. So we have an office in PI, in Newfoundland here, in New Brunswick, and the main office in Nova Scotia as well.
Well, congratulations. I
thank
just stop
you.
you there for a minute. That is great
Yeah.
to be involved with an organization that's Atlantic-wide.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah.
And so in my role, I get the joy of being the manager for Newfoundland and also Prince Edward Island. So it's a lot of shuffling back and forth, but I really enjoy it. One of the great things I like is that you get to meet so many inspiring people that talk about their business idea, what they do, and how the story of how they wanted to start their business. You get to meet newcomers that come to Canada and they have this great idea that come to Canada and had a business back home as well. And just to hear the story and hearing some of the challenges they faced and how we can help them basically overcome that challenge as well.
Okay. All right. Can you just give us a few examples of those challenges?
Yeah, so some of the challenges, one of the biggest things I always find with people when they, in terms of starting their businesses, they don't know where to go for resources. They don't know where to really, they have many questions. How can I incorporate my business? How can I get grants for my business? How can I get the resources to start my business? So it was about having someone that can provide that guide for you. I always say BBI, like for me, I'm your cheerleader. In whatever you do, I am cheering for you to go in. And if there's any way I can support you, I'll basically support you. If there's any door that I need to like go through or anyone I need to call, I will call them. If it's state, provincial government, if it's city, municipal government, I will call them for you, right? So people didn't really know how or what they need, like for food business, they don't know where to get for their permit, who they need to contact. So it was trying to basically streamline and help them in building up that process and connecting that, oh, you need to talk to this person. And one of the cool things we're actually doing right now is we're partnering with the federal government to kind of get more Black businesses to be contractors to the government. So any opportunities available, like the federal government, like reach out to us and say, oh, we have a bid open. So we're doing this process where we're taking business owners from the Atlantic provinces and the federal government procurement Canada is doing a training with them so they learn how to, the process of bidding on contracts for government, right? So it's really trying to, and that's something that we're really excited to kind of open that door for Black businesses because it's a whole new avenue from just the corporate world. They also provide that government contract as well.
Right, which is very inclusive then in that sense, because if you're here and you can't even bid for government tenders, then you're left out.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That's a great idea.
So we actually recently did our launch in PI as well last month. So we did a launch in St. John's in November last year to like officially launch the organization.
Yes.
So we had different levels of government there, from federal to provincial to municipal as well. So it was really great. We talked about some of the work we've already doing in St. John's. Like now in St. John's, we supported over close to 15 clients now with grants grants of helping them kind of build their website, help them with marketing as well. And that's one of the things that business really suffered during COVID, because COVID really affected a lot of business, but especially in the Black community, a lot of business did not know how to transition from that like in-person to online, because everything was online during COVID, right? So a lot of business didn't really know how to, like if they had like a store, they didn't have an e-commerce store, how they'll be able to sell their goods online. So that's when BBI created something called a consultant advocacy grant. And that grant was able to allow different businesses to take on that grant and helps them with their marketing. Also, it helps them with their business plan. They need like a proper business plan, because some people start the business like, oh, I want to start this business, but they don't think further into like, okay, what's the 5-year plan? What's the 10-year plan as well? And then we also help them with like one cool one. There's a business called Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's a logistic business. So we're able to work with a company to help them wrap their business, to help improve their marketing, so people know that wherever they see that van, they know, oh, this is the van of the company. And we're able to do different marketing items or put all over the city. So every time I talk to them, I say, oh, I saw your marketing items, like I saw your poster here and here. And it's really good to see those kind of work that you're doing in the community as well. And you're doing it for the people in the community too. So our launch in November, we're able to kind of talk about all the cool things we've done. And then, so we did that here in November, though a bit of delay in PI, but we're able to officially launch BBI in PI. But we already start working with partners on the ground as well, such as like the Black Cultural Society of PEI. So we already start kind of helping clients there to kind of help them to grow their businesses. And when we went to PI, we went to visit an African grocery store, and then they were just expressing that one of the challenges they get is that trying to, and comes down to that marketing and trying to let people know about them and what services they provide. So it's something we're currently working on with that client as well. Right. So many cool things, I guess.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. And if you leave me all day, I can just talk more about it as well. Yeah. So yeah, but that's the work that we do over in BEI, and we recently went through a big change. So we had Mr. Southwell, Mr. Rustin Southwell was our CEO for a few years. He was our original CEO, then he left and came back. But now the mantle has been added on to Matthew Mattel. So we announced a new CEO like 2 weeks ago, I believe. So definitely a new chapter in the organization, but an exciting chapter as well. But it's really great to see Matthew Mattel, he's a young Black person, so it's really great to see a young Black person taking the leadership and seeing that someone that, oh, in the future, that's something I could potentially look forward to being taking forth in that leadership as well.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow. And when you mentioned you have about 15 clients here in St. John,
Newfoundland. Yeah, so we actually have more than that. That time in November, we had about 15 clients, but now our client base is growing and growing. They're keeping me very busy. But it's really great to see. I think at least in a week, I get 2 or 3 calls from people like, oh, I want to know more about BBI, or how can BBI help, right? And that's one thing I enjoy, being connected in the community, and especially in the Black community, is that once more people know about BBI, we can really take advantage of these resources to help build the community up too. But yeah, I think I was talking to my director that I really need to make a full portfolio so I can know the exact numbers. But I think we're getting up to like 30 clients that we're trying to really help in the community as well. So it's more work for me, but it's good work. That's the thing. It's good work, right? So can't complain. And as you know, I love the community. I love being involved in the community. So being part of this organization and being part of this project definitely has its exhausting moments, but you kind of reap the rewards in seeing the growth in the community as well. I remember the first ever, when we were doing our first round of grants application, like calling clients and telling them, oh, they've been approved for a grant. It was such a good feeling inside of you that, wow, like you hear the cool projects that people want to do as well. And even I think one is even connecting with Black business owners outside of St. John's. Like we have there's a butcher, and he's based out in Carbonear area, so he was able to take hold of our grants as well. I know he's building a big like farm to be providing meats to St. John's in different areas too. Recently, last year, we highlighted a Jamaican restaurant in Ganda, Cool Reggae. Oh. So they were part of our Black to Business magazine too as well. So we're not even we're trying to reach out to other Black communities across the island, across Newfoundland Island as well, because I know a lot of times we tend to be St. John centric, and it's really hard because The island is big and far, so we're hoping that hopefully we can even like reach out to Black communities in Cornerbrook and really assist anyone that has the needs assistance there too.
Sure. Okay, we'll take a short break and we'll come back to that. Sharing Our Cultures will be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures and the amazing Precious. As he's a community leader here, so we're really happy to have him.
And thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I don't think many people know what your journey was like here. Like, how did you end up in St. John's?
It's a long story, but I'm gonna tell it for sure. So for me, I was actually born in Lagos, Nigeria, and I grew up. I spent a good amount of my life, I think it was up to the age of 7, in Lagos, Nigeria, before it was my dad got a posting. He worked in a bank and he got a posting in Kuwait, Middle East. So we moved to Kuwait, Middle East. Big different experience for sure. It was the first, I think that was the first culture shock I think I experienced. Culture shock, weather shock too, because it was hotter than Nigeria. But it was definitely first culture shock I experienced. And I grew up in Kuwait for a few years. Then my mom decided she wanted to do her master's in the UK. So my parents were like, well, UK is good for school. So I moved to the UK as well and lived there for a few years. I think going in the UK really, and growing up in these different places kind of helped me like understand the importance of diversity and the importance of volunteering. Because as a young Black kid, it's hard to go from Nigeria, then go to Kuwait and try to make friends. Then in my first year living in Kuwait, actually, I had friends because we had a Nigerian embassy there, but they decided to move the Nigerian embassy to UAE. So all the friends I had in school kind of like up and left. So I was just like, where do I start from now? But I was able to make friends in my church, and then in school as well, just being involved in different group. I played a lot of soccer growing up, so that kind of helped me make friends, and I kind of started like making this formula that, okay, to make friends, I have to be involved in all these things so I can know, because so you have people that have common interests as you as well. Then I moved to UK and lived there for a few years, and I think that for me really experienced what it meant to be. That was my first experience in like what kind of racism meant in a sense, because I mean, when I lived in Kuwait, it was mostly underlying tones of racism that you never really think of as a child. But like when you think back to that experience, you think, oh, that was not like that. I was like, nah, I think that, like that was not a good thing to say. But so growing up in UK is when I kind of like, okay, being treated a bit different. It was more blatant racism a bit as well. But it doesn't mean it was growing up in UK was a great experience. Definitely miss it. I really want to go back soon as well. It's my third home, I guess, at this point, because we have St. John's, Nigeria, and London too. So I grew up in London, and that was really good. Then one day my mom comes home and is like, we're moving to Newfoundland. And my best friend, my childhood best friend at that time lived in Saskatchewan. My family friend lived in Manitoba. Everyone else, Toronto and Ottawa. So, but you don't really know Newfoundland like that. You're just like, huh? And the coolest thing I actually realized, and I found this out later, is that, so when I lived in the UK, I used to watch a TV show called Republic of Dawn, and that was actually shot in Newfoundland. Yes. So I did not know that until I came to Newfoundland, and then told me that show was shot here in Newfoundland. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so after a few Google images, you see like the downtown homes and some picture. Then we moved over here to Newfoundland, and my mom came to get her master's at MUN. So she was in her master's at MUN, and she was also working there as well. And the first week I moved to Newfoundland was when we had dark now. So that was when we had the power outages. So it was an interesting welcome to Newfoundland, because I was just sitting there in my room, then they took the lights, and I was just like, then my mom was like, Precious, did you touch anything? I'm like, why are you trying to blame me? Like, I didn't do anything. So they realized that there was a power outage, and there was that whole snowstorm, and it was a unique experience I can never forget for sure as well. But coming to Newfoundland has really been a great eye-opener as well. I was privileged to attend Prince of Wales Collegiate just down the road from MUN. And then every time when I was so I started in grade 11, then I ended up graduating. And every time I used to be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go to MUN. Like everyone goes to MUN. I'm going to go to U, Ottawa, or St. FX actually, because I was like, as you kind of you have that dream of just leaving the island in a sense. But I think one thing I'm really, really grateful is that, well, I saw the school fees for the school, and at that time I was still an international student, so I was like, well, those are expensive. I decided to go to MUN, but for me, that really was I think it was one of the best decisions I could have made, because like when I think of everything I've done up to now, it started from really going to MUN and from my experience in high school as well. So high school was a great time. It was really great. It was hard though, being one of the few black students in high school. You have different challenges too. So there were some things that happened in high school that when I reflect back to them, I'm just like, because like one of the things that really to today really I think stand out to me is that I think we've had a student blackface to school before, and that for me was very inappropriate. Well, obviously very racist as well. So that was one experience that stands out to me that really fueled my passion to educate people about, because to that student, they didn't know, and I confronted that student, and they didn't really know or understood what was wrong with what they're doing. And their excuse was that for Halloween is that they were playing a psychopathic killer who got their head stuck in a chimney. So yeah, exactly. That was their excuse. And I confronted that person about it too. And for me, I think the only thing I wish is there was actually more action done by the school itself to kind of get that allyship from them too. But that person did not understand what was exactly wrong with what they're doing. So that was one of the moments that I said, okay, that was a moment that, and it's as I grow older is when I think that to that how kind of crazy that moment was, because I'm like, that was really messed up what that person is doing, right? Anyway, so going to university, I actually tried to study engineering in my first year. That was not fun. I don't think it wasn't for me, which is totally fine, which I tell a lot of people as well. It wasn't for me, and I was very, very close to flunking out of university. And actually, I think at this point, I was basically almost flunked out of university. But I was able to see the dean of engineering and actually able to see your husband.
I was just thinking, was John the dean of engineering then?
I was able to see. He was. No, he was actually my professor.
It was the prof? Okay.
It was my prof, but I was able to see the dean of engineering. He was the one that referred me to go to the dean of engineering. So, and they're really able to help me and kind of, because at that time, it was transitioning from high school to university is such a hard process. It's like taking the whole year of high school and putting it in 4 months, right? And I guess for me, it was way different. And I was always a social person, so I'd spend more time in the university center talking to people than going to classes too. But I was able to kind of pick, and that's what I always tell a lot of young people, is that a lot of times starting university off, it can be really discouraging, because for me, I did not start off well. I didn't really have the best grade. I basically flunked out at one point, but I was able to get back in with the next semester with a lot of help from the dean as well. And I switched over, and I think for my first semester, I always knew I wanted to study business. And I should have just switched over then, but I was like, everyone, being an engineer is cool, you make a lot of money, So I was very, I was like, I can do it. But I realized that it wasn't one of my strengths as well, and it wasn't really, I was looking at it from a different point of view because it wasn't my interest. So I switched over to business and I studied business. And for me, that kind of created a lot more time to do what I wanted to do, and picked my interest in a lot of things such as business law and such as learning how to help people build their business, basically, which is what I do now, right? So switching over to business was really great because that led me to get some more time to be involved in things like BSA, Black Student Association, which was like the first time when we came up with BSA. It was me, Colin, and Kweku Mwemba, which is actually John's cousin as well. So that was the first formation of BSA, and we did, at that time when we started BSA, it was the first ever time we did Black History Month at the university as well. So it was the same time that Black Panther had come out. So what we did is we got a lot of tickets for like black students and anyone really. We got some buses to go from the UC, and then we had the Association of New Canadians as well come and join us with a lot of newcomers as well who were excited because it was the first time we really saw a black superhero being portrayed in cinema and a main character as well. So being to see how that aligned with each other too was very inspirational. And so from then, being part of BSA kind of led me to join the student union, and that's when I became director of student life. So one of my jobs in student life was basically planning events for students, and I really strive to kind of plan inclusive events as well, so that it was a way for everyone from different parts, wherever you're from, could really come and have a great time at the events too. And it was really weird because I always wanted to kind of show as an example that you can be involved. A lot of times as a black student, you come to university, but you don't really think of being involved because you gotta work to sometimes pay your school fees. You gotta work, or to even just to have some money in your pocket. You gotta work, and so you are always kept busy too. So I just wanted to be like, there are different ways you can get involved, and being involved in campus actually pays you. Like actually is a good benefit because you get to meet so many cool people. And I think for me, that's when being in the community started and being who I am, because I got to meet so many people. I got to learn from so many people as well. I get to learn so many things that I had no idea about. I got to be an organizer, I guess, for the first time in my life, fighting for students on differential fees, going to committees for students as well, representing students. And that for me was a passion for me. But eventually you have to graduate and leave school. So I graduated, thankfully. And again, I tell people like I had a terrible beginning in university, but it doesn't. And if I tell people some of the marks I got, I'm telling you, if I've gotten this low marks and I was able to graduate, you can do it. But yeah, so I've been able to use my experience as a way to kind of guide young people that I see them that are first years. I'm like, oh, like even if you're struggling now, you're gonna be fine. Just before I graduated, I was able to get a really cool opportunity using my experience in the student union to work in Scotiabank, because I was also a business student at that time. So I was working in commercial banking. I did a work term there. I did an internship there as well. And then from then, they really enjoyed me and actually brought me back to be a full-time staff. Like, it was a really great opportunity, and thankful to my boss, who is now, I've left Scotiabank now, but is still a great friend of mine, Alison Bureau. She was really the one that kind of mentored me in my work term, and kind of, even to today, I think she even texted me today as well. So it was kind of creating that lifelong friendship with her too. Then from there, I think then we started, COVID happened, I finished school. Then I think during COVID with the death of George Floyd was what really ignited that, let's talk more about racism and let's talk about how can we address racism in Newfoundland, and that's what really ignited Black Lives Matter. I really ignited the starting of Black Lives Matter Newfoundland. And
you were the co-founder?
Yes, I am the co-founder of it. Okay. And I think it was really because for me, I've had a lot of lived experiences, and I was able to connect with folks that had lived experiences too as well. I've seen, not just for me, I've seen being part of my church community, I've seen, and my dad's a pastor, and so all the time I've seen different cases of things happening in the community that it kind of pains your heart. I've had my own personal stories of things happened.
You mean like racist?
Racist incidents that's happened. Racist incidents that's happened. I've had so those are things that kind of ignited me to be like, okay, what are the ways we can start? Like, how do we start the conversation? Because it comes about starting that conversation. We can't just. Newfoundland is a great place to live in. I love Newfoundland, but how do we make it more inclusive, and how do we make the community a place where people can feel more welcomed into? Because we want to bring a lot of newcomers to Canada, we want to bring a lot of newcomers to Newfoundland, but what support system are there for them to feel as if they're part of the community too, and how can we welcome this? So Black Lives Matter was started to kind of work with other organizations to start the conversation and see what we can do. We had our first ever rally, that 2020, and I always remember that day because it was one of the most stressful days of my life. That week itself was very stressful, but it was definitely needed for sure, because it was a way for us to kind of No, because the thing beauty is that we've already had folks like Anti-Racist Coalition doing the work. We had your organization, Our Culture, doing the work already. So we already had those kind of support people in place that, oh, we have these organizations that are doing some really great work as well. So, but what ways can we bring it from a different angle too? And so we started Black Lives Matter on Newfoundland, and we started with the rally. Then we're like, okay, do we continue on? Is that just one thing? But we said, okay, there's different supports we can provide to the organization, and so we started doing things such as Backpack and Now, where we provide backpacks to members of the Black community. And in 2021, I believe, 2021, we're able to partner with Rotary that year and provide backpacks to over 100 Black kids in community as well. So that was really good, and we want to grow that too as well. So that's one of our flagship programs that we did. And then we did things such as Call, Curves, and Conversation, where we talked about racism in the film industry, racism through hair, which is interesting because I think it's a very big conversation, but that was pioneered by one of our other co-founders, Raven Khadija, as well. So it's just, Black Lives Matter basically was started to kind of create a safe space for people to come and also share the experience, but also a place where people can also feel as if they're welcome to. And what we want to do is create change in community, create change in government policy, create change in health policy as well. And
you've studied that.
Yes.
You studied the change.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, it's hard sometimes, definitely busy doing all these different hats, but definitely worth it for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it is worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and so glad that you are working in this area, and we know there's a lot more improvement that would come along the way, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And Sharing Our Cultures will be right back. Thanks to Precious for sharing his journey to Newfoundland Labrador and his position with BBI. Thanks to you for watching. Join us again next time on another episode of Sharing Our Cultures.